For the 2 viewers I have online, I appreciate you for stopping by. If you would like to join the Hangout, please do so. Just shoot me an email and we'll get that working for you. Or put the information in the comments. Yeah, just drop your email in the comments if you want to join in, and I will send you the link. Or in 10 minutes, I will go to sleep. One of the two. I'm going to be good either way. Gotcha, Ken. Kendall needs another link. Ken. I see you, Doctor. You in there?
But the Cavaliers suck.
What they doing? I see you, Doctor. You in there?
But the Cavaliers suck.
What they doing? I see you, Doctor. You in there? Yeah, turn this off. Oh shoot! What up, man? Yo, Kendall, what where the Cavs playing? Like TBS or some shit like that? TNT something. I'm just sitting here watching TV, I guess. Daniel, if you hear me, I'm just gonna go get some coffee while we hopefully wait for other people to join in. So I'll be back. Yeah, I'm eating food. I know what's fine. Kendall, since you're here, man, and nobody else is here, man, if you got any questions, just go chop it away. If anybody's watching on YouTube and wants to join the discussion, please put your email in the comments and I will get to you. Since there's nobody in this hangout, we got 10 slots. Well, one person is in the hangout, so we got about 8 more slots for people to jump in and just ask away, learn from each other. You know how we do it. Original Sean. I'm working on a couple of different things right now. I'm in a major project with Lionsgate, working on a TV show, and yeah, that's what we doing. Got a couple of records on my desk right now. Um, some pop stuff, and, random hip hop stuff. But that's what we doing. Original Sean 3000. And Original Sean, if you want to drop your email in there, I'll put you a link and you can join up on the chat and participate a little bit further. You know what I mean? Capstone is in the building. Oh no, no, Josh Coleman is here. Oh shit. I just so y'all know, I don't know what the hell my camera's going up. What's going on with my camera, but it's just dark. It'll probably kick on a little bit. So I am here. Just whenever you get your audio video sorted out, over on the left, if you wanted to, you know, hit the chat box. If you need to, you need any help, I can do that for you too. But yeah, man, just hit me up whenever you're ready. You guys ready to go? An Original Sean 3000. I am really needed. I'm working on my third slice of pizza right now. My mixing day has ended. I'm burnt out. I just need to relax. So figured I'd just come out here and share some knowledge with anybody who wants it. So I have a small network, so not a lot of people. And if you're in the broadcast, um, just hit on the chat and let me know you're here, or if you can hear me. Um, if you need some help with your audio, la la la, all that nice stuff, just let me know. Um, yeah, that's it. Nobody's there. See if my settings are right. Should be. Nobody there? Anybody there? Josh, Canada. Okay. All right, Josh, I hear you. You got audio, Josh? Well, that doesn't help the situation now, does it? So what you got? What you wanna I haven't talked to you in years, man. I hope everything's going well. Um yeah, man, what you up to? Man, listen, you've been talking about that for a number of years, man. It ain't nothing but just to do it. I know you gotta take care of what you gotta take care of. Sometimes you gotta make that leap and and let the universe make that decision for you. You know, I'm not getting all deep there, but you know where I'm getting at. You just gotta make that jump. Um, when it's right time for you. Yeah, man. I like your little room, man. It's sexy in a good way. Got that vibe to it. Hmm. I mean, kind of am burned out, but I mean, uh, let's see how we can make that happen. um, okay. Yeah, I mean, this is, and honestly, Josh, this is my really first time hosting a broadcast on this site. So I'm just trying to figure out how it works and glitches and all that nice stuff. But I hear you. You can email me the track. I can take a listen to it. XYZ. Yeah, you can just email it to me if you want. I'll take a listen to it. MP3 version. Okay. When you say compression and stuff, so compression and stuff gives you headaches, or is it uh, compressing, mixing, or with beats with two tracks that's giving you the headache? Which one? All right, Sean, original Sean. I'm gonna send you that invite right now. I just saw that. And Sean, your invite sent, and I'm reading something from Josh. So with 2-track beats, and this is um, just my take on it. I'm not 100% right. I'm not 100% wrong. This is just how I've learned to deal with the 2-track beats. Um, so let me ask some qualifying questions with that. So you're dealing with probably a limited, squash to holy whatever beat, and then you have some vocals that you need to go under it, right? Okay. Um, so when you start your mix, around what level do you know, whatever they had it at, maybe they turned it up and things of that sort? All right. -6 is your number. Cool. Is that the beat itself, or is that overall volume on your mix? Okay, good. So to make life easier, I've just learned that I I could go in, EQ, do all kinds of crazy tricks, band splits, and try and mess with the sonic characteristics of a 2-track. But here's the reality: it's a 2-track. I can't do nothing with it, right? So I'm not going to rack my brain on making the 2-track as perfect as possible. What I will do to a 2-track is I'll boost some low end, I'll boost some top end, because and this is 90% of the clients that you deal with that come to you with 2-track beats. No disrespect to them, this is just what it is. So how do I say this without being mean? Well, I mean, they haven't invested in themselves enough to get the beat, right? To get it tracked out. Hey, that's what it is. Um, so, and when they come to you to mix it, 9 times out of 10 or 8 times out of 10, they're not paying you a lot of money to mix the record either. So I'm going to do what I need to do to get that, to get it sounding right, what they need, what for whatever purposes they're going to need it for. So if I go in, obviously I'm going to listen to the track first. I'm going to, make an evaluation. What does it need? 7 out of 10 times, it doesn't need anything. It just needs me to turn it down so I can get it even with the vocals. And then, oh, no. I know. Well, to your last point, oh, I know they want album quality with the 2-track beat. They're going to have to pay for that, whatever that means. They're going to go find the track out. They're going to pay their beat maker and their composer, or they call them producers now. They pay them and hope that they have the files. So I'm just going to go in and turn it down, make sure it matches the vocals where I have them. And if I need to boost some low end to get it knocking, cool. If I need to boost some top end on a shelf just to make it sizzle, cool. Only thing I have to beat is the rough mix. And that's going to be very, very easy most of the times. So that's my approach for like 2-track stuff. All the EQs and stuff like that, nah, I don't even mess with that. Um, Another psychology point is that, you know, they probably have been riding to that track for a long time, and they don't want it to sound any different. They just want their vocals clean. My email, I will put it in the chat. Yeah, I mean, that's what I get. It's kind of different with me a little bit. I mean, a lot of this stuff is experience. You're going to deal with some very heavy, limited beats that you really can't do anything with. Um, you're going to have some that are decent. For the most part, they are. And you do what you can. You really only have three options sometimes. It's just to boost some low end, maybe take some low end out, boost some top end, take some of it out, give it some mids, take some of them out. I don't know, whichever one, um, that's whatever one I need. And when you say you limit a lot just to match the volume, sometimes, in what aspect? The beat? Okay. So you're just, and when you say limiting, what is the purpose of your limiter? What is it doing? Is it just making the vocals louder to match the beat? Okay. Well, here's another approach, though. Why don't you just turn the beat down to match the vocal? I mean, if you're doing natural, or what you say, natural compression on your vocals, cool. But you can only turn it up so much, and then you start introducing limiters to the 2-track that has some effects, that has some consequences, that has it's probably crushed with dynamic range anyway, but you're just making it flatter. So sometimes in trying to do that, you're kind of fighting yourself. So the easiest way to just say it is just, hey, turn the fader down on the 2-track so that your vocals kind of sit on top of it, and then go from there. You can always, in the later stages of the mix, turn it up with a fader, not with a limiter, not with anything, there. Just, you can just turn it up or turn it down, and then physically turn it up later, so you're not introducing any of those artifacts that those limiters, depending on which limiter you use, all of that stuff has negative effects. So when you get to the end product, it doesn't leave you scratching your head like, oh, what did I do that's making it sound like this? um, the easiest answer I can give in that regards. Am I along the right lines there, Josh? Because I know it's hard with the text chat, but yeah, one of the things that I've learned, especially working with Leslie over the past couple of years, is that don't make things harder for yourself. All the tips, the tricks, tools, all the fancy stuff, that's cool. But No, your vocals should pop. Your vocals should pop. I mean that if the beat's kind of static and not if it's limited to an inch of its life, when you get it, there's really nothing you can do about it. But you can make the vocals shine. There's no need to punish the vocals for the producer's error in. There's no need to punish your vocals for the producer's mistake. You know what I mean? Plus, that's what's going to separate you. Yeah. So yeah, try not to do as little as you can do while serving the greater good. Great. Um, don't overthink this stuff. This is not rocket science, from what I've learned. Um, Mixing is entirely a technical thing, but it's also a feel. It's also a confidence thing. Everybody who loves music and loves mixing loves music and loves mixing. So there's no need to be a technical surgeon and try and outthink the next person in making this stuff happen. So yeah, don't overthink it. Don't use every tool in the tool bag. Just use what you need to get it the way you need it, and then move on. If that makes any sense. Sometimes I ramble. All right, I got your track. I'm gonna listen to it. Uh, and is this a proprietary track? Is there any non-disclosure on it? Is it released? Is my best? Yeah. Okay. It's not released, or they don't mind if I broadcast it then, huh? All right. If you want to try your phone, that's cool too. That'd be what up. I'm gonna open up a Pro Tools session. Your track a listen. It'd be help if I download it first, huh? Might be a smart idea. Well, while you go ahead and do that, I'm gonna listen to your track. I'm gonna put it in my headphones so nobody else can hear it, but that's what I'm gonna do. Uh-huh. So Josh, whose track is that? That you? Or is it just a client of yours? Which year? Okay. So you had access to all the music. Did you produce that yourself? Okay. Well, okay, cool. Well, I mean, I have to kind of really see it to kind of give you my take on it. I think it could be use of your dynamic processing that is causing some of those issues. Um, so you remember when I don't know, were you ever in my mix? Were you ever in the mixing class with me, or that when I was when you were in school, you were only in like the Pro Tools intro to audio side? You never got me in level 4, huh? Okay, it's been that long. Wow. So um, dynamically, if there was compression and things of that sort, what I've learned in my time is that compression tends to mess with the balance of your material more than anything. Um, yeah, more than anything, it tends to ruin the balance of where it is. If you just think about basic bus compression, what it's going to do is going to knock down some of the peaks and kind of bring up some low stuff. And it's playing with the balance that you set. And if you use it too much, I think that's where I was getting some of the. It's possible that I could have been getting some of those synths that just kind of popped out um, towards the towards the end. Um, that's a possibility, and that's one of the things that you run into with compression is that when you're using it, especially a compressor across a 2-track like that, where there's so much going on, the more you compress it, the more you start to um, play with the balance of the existing material and change it. So that's why if I can get away with it, I just don't compress it. You see what I mean? It's just like, well, why do that? Limiting, I can kind of start ruining stuff as well. I'm not really dealing with the limiters really, and used correctly, won't really change the balance. Um, they won't change the balance of your material, but they make it louder. They can, or they can start to just, you start backing off of the really high peaks, and it doesn't change the balance of your inside material that much when used correctly. Now, in extremes, of course, it's going to change the balance. So sometimes dynamically, I may not want to do that. And then you start bringing other tools of dynamic EQing, or only EQing certain things when they happen. That can have an effect on the track. Um, or it could be just a poorly mixed 2-track, a 2-track that's just not balanced well. And when that happens, yeah, when that happens, only thing you can do is just say, "Yeah, this is what they gave me. This is what they're gonna get." And 80 times out of 90, they're gonna call you and be like, "Hey, is there any way you can turn certain elements down?" Sure, give me the track out. oh well, you know, I gotta pay some more money to get that. Yes, you do. I'll wait. Cool. Let me know when you get that. That's the only way it's gonna happen, unless you know this is what we're gonna have to deal with. So sometimes that happens, and there's no real secret to a two-track mix. It's just, hey, this is what you were given. This is what I'm gonna do, and that's it. Nothing really. There was nothing really. There's nothing really to reinvent or try. It was just that's what it is. And sometimes you have to be confident in yourself to just say, "Cool, that's it." Hopefully that makes sense. I could be rambling. Cool. Any other question? And yeah, that's cool. Search for another track. You know, if need be, you just go back to the producer and be like, "Yo, what's up with this two track?" Even if that's not something you want to do, just what's up with the two track? Can we get a better mix on it, or can you release the two tracks so I can mix it the way I want it to, or how much that's gonna cost? X, Y, Z. Whatever you need to do. Well, yeah, don't fight yourself. Yeah, that's I've done that for a long time. I've done those sessions, sessions after sessions after sessions, where you walk in and then they say, "Cool, hey, you got a track? Oh yeah, just go to YouTube." I already know what kind of session that's gonna be. It's gonna be a horribly mixed, stupid loud MP3, and there was if I recall off the hand, there's a couple of sessions where they're just like, yeah, bro, can't work with that. I mean, it's not gonna sound good. Um, I've had to, break it down. Like, look, I'm sorry, I tried all I can do. It's not working. Um, there is no way to work around that. It is what it is. It's YouTube, bro. They're really just technically stealing from the internet. That's what it is. That's why YouTube, the MP3 sites are being taken down every third Friday. And it's harder to get links on YouTube. Now people are going to end up recording it into their Pro Tools sessions via SoundCloud just to get a track when they could have just went and paid $50. Oh wait, they paid $50 to do in the session. So yeah, so you see where this is going. This is, you know, um, that's what it is. Um, they want a great premix. They want the great sound. They want to see the results like people see on the internet when all these artists are in the big studios and they're out there amped and hyped. They want to do that and have that feeling without paying that kind of money, because it's just not the money for the studio, the engineer, the mix. It's having a relationship with a good producer, or a beat maker. It's having that relationship and having that content where you don't have to go on YouTube. You know what I mean? So most of those YouTube tracks that I download and record in a session end up right back on YouTube that same night, and that's as far as it'll go, and that's okay, and that's cool. Um, Not mad at it. Um, but trying to do huge stuff with something that's on YouTube, it's not not really, it's not really going there. Um, it's not really happening. Number one, you don't have the rights to the track, so you couldn't make money off of it anyway. Or if you did, I don't even know how that works. I'm a mixer, so I don't really care. I don't know. Now I know I'm rambling. I think I'm sleepy. What I But Josh, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to run into my other room real quick. And if you want to try and make that switch, I will be back shortly. If that, yeah, yeah. So give me like 2 minutes. I gotta go to the other room. Oh boy. Okay. I am back. What else you got, Josh? I know you got some questions. All right, let me check that out. Comment on reverb. All right, let's see what we got here. I'm listening. Just started playing. And Josh, from what I'm reading, I don't think it's going to work on your iOS. If you have an iPhone, I don't think it's going to be able to work unless you get the Google Hangout app. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but that could be a possibility. So, what's your question about reverb? I'm listening to it, but and when you say you wanted me to comment on something about reverb, I thought I saw that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't think that's gonna work. It's all good though. Did you say? Well, what do you think? Do you think it's too much saturation? Do you think it's too reverberated? Or what does the artist want? I think that was you on the feature rap, but is that what you were going for? I want to put myself on mute and put it through my speakers so I can really hear what you're getting at. This is this is the okay. Hold on, let me read. This is the fun part about mixing. There are There are no rules. So if you want something super oversaturated, like you say that it is, cool. If you think it works, if the artist thinks it works, cool. Keep it moving. Don't overthink it. One of the things that I used to preach all the time is, reference your tracks, reference them to records that are out, and see what people are doing. Are you going mainstream? Are you going experimental? There's a place for everything. Um, so yeah, don't overthink your decisions. If you want something really, you want this real long reverb tail in there, cool, go with it. If you want your vocal a little bit further up front, cool, make that adjustment, and make the vocal up front, but have the long reverb tails so it's kind of swimming in some reverb. If that's what you want, if that's what your artist wants, go for it. If that makes sense. If you think it works, cool. Um, you'll never hear me currently talk about, just talk about, yeah, that's too much reverb. That's wrong. That gets into a very iffy space for me recently. So if I want something sounding like this, cool. I have to be confident in that decision to say, this is what I wanted. Now it's up for the listener to kind of vibe with that. Does it fit the vibe? Um, and just roughly listening to the song, yeah, it's a little spacey. It, it's it's a song about getting high. So it's cool. Like it's well, it's technically not a song about getting high, but in your hooks, it's like, roll it up. Cool. I get it, and I'm not mad at it at all. And I don't think anybody you shouldn't be mad at it at all. Don't second guess yourself. If you want a lot of reverb, go with a lot of reverb. Um, you hear Ken Lewis and a lot of other people talking about what they're hearing in mixes, and I hear a lot of stuff in mixes where there's just people are making stuff out of phase on purpose because they think it works, and it does. As long as it fits the vibe of the song, go for it. Don't hold back or anything trying to say, well, this is not a mix because I'm using too much reverb. No, it's a mix. You mixed it, and you came to an agreement on how the record should sound, and that's what it is. Just keep it moving. At least that's what I think. You know. Yeah, that's my two cents. And I have my preference on how I like to mix, and that developed over time. It's not right. It's not wrong. It's just my style, and that's what gives me. Um, when clients come to me for mixing, um, I do what they wish, but there is a sense of Jay Brown did mix this track, um, so that's that's just my style. If they tell me they want something, real spacey, real ambient, cool. I'll take that in consideration and make it ambient and make it spacey, and hopefully it fits the vibe. That's that. Yeah, that's basically that point. Are you mixing a lot of your own stuff, or are you just kind of doing? Um, I see your chat. I'll read in a second. But are you getting a lot of people, or random people just coming to you for mixes, or is it just like mixes in sessions? Listening to the vocal, I'm reading your message. Listening to the vocal, I think the female lead maybe is a little bit too distorted for my taste, but maybe that's how you wanted it. So it's you know a thing about that. Now, as far as compression, um, and maybe this is going off topic, but as far as compression, I'm not hearing too much compression, which could be a good thing. Now, there are points in points where I think that the vocal could come up. That's not a compression issue in my opinion. It could be an automation issue. You can you can automate your vocal to kind of sit where you want it to sit, um, and not rely on a compressor to do that for you. The problem you get, the reason I say that is if you rely on a compressor to keep your vocal in that pocket, you run the risk of over compressing certain points and not compressing what you're trying to do at certain points as well. Um, I made the adjustment to never compress to even out. No, that's a wrong. That's not the right way to say it. But when I use my compression, I'm using it for a purpose. It could be to really just knock down some peaks. It could be to kind of knock down some peaks and as well as bring some low information up in the vocal. Um, but I'm not doing too much compression. I don't want to hear it. And I think that just kind of goes into, um, depending on what style compressor you use, massaging the attack and massaging the release, setting a correct threshold, to where it works without overdoing it. Um, and then just kind of using automation and volume automation basically just to make the vocal stay where I wanted it to stay without the compressor doing too much. I try not to compress, especially in the hip hop, pop, gospel world that I'm in right now. I try not to do too much compressing so it's not very audible. Hopefully, I do a good job at it. Yeah, mixes and sessions right now. People used to send me stuff. Okay, so you're in that. You're kind of in that mode of session work, mixes, in and out. Yeah, I want to pay you for a couple of hours, and yeah, and yeah. So you never really use automation, so that'll be good. Let me show you something. I don't know if this is gonna actually work. Um, okay, so um, what I'm going to do. I'm going to share my Pro Tools screen with you. So here we go. This is a session I'm working on currently. So my vocals are down here, obviously. On my lead vocals are usually in red. And as you can see, let me see something here. This is a pop style vocal, so don't judge me too hard, bro. Let me see if I can let this rip. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
You were just in my bed. Now it's 6 and I can't find your love in nowhere.
So
took your keys, but I still
that's
smell
obviously
your
delayed. I
hair
don't know what's going on.
on my shirt.
As far as compression goes, that's where I decided to compress at. Those are my ratios, whatever. That's where I had it sitting. Let's see how hard it's working though. Not that hard. It's knocking some peaks down, kind of keeping everything in order. But what happens? So I have that going, and coming up here, that's some EQ and blah blah blah. I have another compressor working. That's not really doing too much either. Maybe whenever this is kind of hitting, it's maybe about a dB or so. But my other point is that this is the automation that I have working. So I am compressing the vocal for a purpose here. That's getting bussed up to this track where it has a couple of EQs, another compressor, and then a de-esser. But after all of that processing comes here. So that's where I can achieve the vocal not going in and out, if that makes much sense there. So I'm choosing words in which I think after the compression and after what I did kind of get lost in the track. So I just automate that up. And then what I am kind of left with is, see if I can play that all there. Hopefully it translates to, and it's delayed, so just give it a second. It'll kind of, you'll hear the track and the background and the vocal. Second.
Took your keys. You were just in my bed. Now it's 6 in the morning. I can't find your love in nowhere, but I still smell your hair on my shirt. Disappeared.
Yeah.
To thin air. Gave me all the wrong numbers. Deleted the pictures. Pulled me in and I thought that you cared. At least that's what you said. Even for you.
So hopefully that makes sense. A little bit. I'm not relying too much on my compressor for leveling purposes or to keep the vocal in that pocket. There's a couple of things happening. So I may compress at one stage for a purpose, whatever that purpose may be. Then it has other processing that it goes to, and then a final gloss. Usually my automation happens with the music in. So this automation process on the vocal is usually done after the music is done. So all of my process, my tuning again, my compression on the lead vocal itself, a little bit of de-essing, my EQ, and then a little bit of volume. I use that too, which goes to another EQ, some corrective stuff, a final compressor, a final gloss of de-essing, and I'll leave that be in the mix. I'll let that sit for a while, and I'll work on something else. Maybe I'll add a reverb or do whatever, and then I'll mess with the music. And when I'm at a stage where I'm like, cool, I'm kind of evaluating things and saying, cool, the vocal goes out here, it's a little bit too loud here. That this automation stage is where I will take care of that and hopefully keep it there. Hopefully that makes sense. That help a little bit. It's kind of hard without actually being there, repetition and seeing stuff happen, but this is a creative process. This is just what needs to be done, or how I like to look at it, what needs to be done and how efficiently I can get that done. So this is just whatever I do to make it work. That's it. Delvante, what are you talking about? The screen is not showing the YouTube link. Don't know. Um, Maybe it's because I have it focused on Capstone or Josh's thing. That's my ugly mug, if that makes sense. I switched that, so I don't know. All right, cool. What else she got, man? I got a little bit more time. I was hoping we have more people. Maybe the next time people will show up. It's all G though. Each one, teach one. Yeah, that's that. That's what I would just focus on the other thing. Delavante, you can come in if you like, or anybody who uh anybody who wants to come in that's watching on YouTube. There's a whopping amount of people on this feed. There are 3 people watching for real, and I'm talking to one of them that's in the broadcast, and then there's 2 of them that are on YouTube. What up, though? On in. Hey, yeah, the Josh, the automation thing is that's where it really is. That's where it gets. That's where the emotions and everything comes in. Is in the automation phase of my mix. Again, that's just to give you a little secret. That is why I don't really have a lot of clients sit in on mixes. Um, uh, it's a tedious point of the mix, and a lot of people will come in, and I've done it once or twice, and that's going to be the end of it. But I've done it once or twice where I want to go through my process, but the comment is, "Hey, could you turn the kick up?" Or "Hey, could you turn it up, the whole track up? Let me feel it." And they want to have which is, I get it, but they want to have the feel good moments. But when the mix is really kind of getting down to the nitty gritty, um, yeah, a lot of clients probably wouldn't like that process, in my opinion. So I try to stay away from that. Plus, what I try to provide is efficiency. Um, I've turned around major label records in 6 hours. Um, and if I would have had the artist or the principals there, I don't think I could have been able deliver um, uh, to deliver those turnarounds because there was somebody in the room with me watching and monitoring and wanting to comment on my work before it was actually finished. So the automation phase is a very key piece of very key phase for me. So, um, I'm looking. I'm back and forth, Delavante. No, I didn't go through my output chain, um, but I can. Uh, when you say my output chain, what exactly do you mean? What do you want to see? And Josh, just so you know, I'm going back and forth to the YouTube people. And YouTube people, person, um, you're going to be delayed. I don't know why. Technical difficulties. I don't know how to do this stuff. I'm a mixing engineer. I am not a broadcaster, but you're probably getting this a little bit late. But I will do what I need to do to make everybody happy. That is our duty. But yeah, output chain. Give me a little bit more. What do you want to see? What do you want to see from buses all the way out, or what you need? I can do it. I got nothing but time, and I have an unlimited supply of coffee. Oh, um, before I print. Okay. So there's a couple of different things. I'm gonna share again. I gotta show you inside the box before it goes outside the box. And at this point in this mix right now, I haven't done it, but I will. So let me set up that sharing thing for you, Doctor. I'm gonna share my screen again. I'll share Pro Tools for you. All right. And I know you're delayed, so I'm going to try and do this as quickly as possible. My sessions run left to right. 9 times out of 10, all of my master buses, all my output stuff is going to be over here in red. My buses are going to be to the left, and they're always yellow. So I usually have everything running left to right. So everything is going to end up coming out of this bus. At this point in this mix, this is probably a good place to start, because what I've done is I have all of my drums down here, and then I have a music master. So what I would normally do is break some of this stuff out. So how much do I have going on here? I have one. Actually, what I would do is this one. Take all of my buses. This is the weird thing, though. It really depends on the song if I want to kind of break this out to the 2-bus or not. The way I'm feeling about this right now, I will probably go out to the 2-bus. So you kind of forced my hand there, Daniel. So, but how do I want to do it? This is the conundrum. So let's just take all my drums, all of my music. So I have obviously drums, my basses, keyboards, pianos, blah blah blah. I would normally take that and send it out an output. Let's go. Drums will go summing 1. Put that in Unity. Music will go summing 2. Put that in Unity. And then I have a vocal master here that can go summing 3. That goes out of my interface and goes into a dangerous 2-bus that's sitting in my rack here. That'll process. And what I will end up doing is taking this master stereo bus and making a duplicate of it, just because it's easier for me. I'll just rename this. And then I'll change that, obviously, to 2-bus in. So now that's getting, all I have to do is mute that one. And then that's giving me my summed information into a 2-bus. When I'm finished with the mix, whatever processing that's on here, what I have, my setup is configured in a way where my outputs, I'll show you that one. My outputs are mirrored. So the main out is mirrored to a digital output on the back of my Orion. So anytime I'm playing, it's literally going through my converter at the same time. So what happens is I just open up an audio track, basically. And the mix print in bus gets that information. So when I play it, it's going out of my interface into my analog pure 2 A to D, D to A converter, and then routing itself back into Pro Tools, back into the Orion. back into the Orion for printing purposes. I don't know if it's, let's see. I have no idea what it's going to sound like. I mean, you can just kind of see it working right now. That's coming right back in exactly the way.
Where's your clothes? Where's your shoes?
The way I want it.
Can still taste your lips, feel the curves of your hips.
So
I'm confused, 'cause I thought that.
That's that. Did you see that? And I'm gonna watch your YouTube feed and see when it's going to catch up. That's a mess. The two bus in my opinion, this analog converter is way better than not way better than the Apogee converters. I'm used to those. I like those. This one has a different vibe. The Analog series really has a different vibe. I like what they've done. I worked on a couple of other pieces of gear, and I'm to the point now where I kind of feel out of the water if I have to work in another space with a different converters. I'm always anxious to bring it back home or back to this spot, and then and just reprint the mix. Even if I don't have to use a 2-bus, I just want to just go out and come back in. It definitely has a bigness to it that I like. So yeah, that's an output routing. And what I'm trying to do and get Lauren and somebody who's, people who want to assist me on certain mixes, just the way I work is just, the way I work. This is the way it's going to have to sound, or the way it's going to have to look all the time. Otherwise, I just feel like I'm lost. And that's a good thing. It's just the way I work. So cool. Josh, you got anything off of that really badly put together presentation? Levante, hopefully that answered your question. If I left anything out, my bad. Correct me. Let me know. You're just checking out my setup. My setup is 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of my front end is really 4 pieces of analog gear combined with the my vocal chain. Don't worry about that. And that's a good point. But my vocal chain, it's really, and to be honest with you, I could send you a session. No, I would pause. I could export a vocal track and send it to you and title it J Brown vocal chain. It's not going to work on everything. I don't have a set vocal chain, something that I do every single time for every single mix. There are consistent themes, but there's no one way that I have to do anything. Otherwise, it's not it's not that. Sometimes I EQ before I compress. Shh, don't tell the other audio groups. Sometimes I compress before I EQ. Sometimes I use the de-esser first. Sometimes I use a compressor first. Sometimes I don't use any at all. It's really, it's an evolving thing, and I've sat behind Leslie. I've sat behind a couple of other great mixers. And the common theme is, yes, they do have similar processes, but there are wrinkles in time. There are some little wrinkles where it's not done the same way every time. And from what I've understood and what I've noticed is that just the person that's sitting behind the console, whatever is going through their brain, will dictate, hey, What's this? What's that? Let me do this before I do that. Or if I do something a certain way and I don't like it, cool, I can change that. But to go a little bit deeper, Josh, vocal chain is really, it's what do I not like about the vocal, and let me correct it. When it comes down to I'm gonna share one more time. When it comes down to a track base, like the information on the track, I'm usually in a corrective phase. Melodyne, a little touch of auto tune, compression to correct dynamics, de-essing to correct syllabants, EQ to correct frequencies that I don't like. You will 98% of the time see an EQ on my track be subtractive. And then you'll say, well, what are you doing there? But take away. And one of the things I learned from Leslie, because you took away so much, sometimes you can afford to add a little bit more sparkle. So that's that approach on that one. I think I told another somebody who was with me one day last week. I take the approach of, let me listen to the vocal and figure out what I don't like. If I can correct what I don't like, more often than not, I'm going to be left with what I do like, right? So when it gets bussed from this track here, then I can start adding sparkle. And then the next process, once I start adding sparkle, I could probably hear some frequencies that I didn't catch or that got enhanced by this last process when it comes down to this EQ. So then I'll start correcting myself. Once I add it, I'm going to correct and kind of get rid of stuff that kind of really bothers me, or still bothers me, better suited than that. A compressor just to even out some of the dynamics and some of the spikes based on the corrections that I made after this compressor. So let me just give it a little bit of correction. Again, a technique that I kind of stole from Leslie. There is something special about this Fairchild 670, the legacy version from UAD. No, I'm not sponsored, but the legacy version from UAD, there's something special about it. It adds some weight to the vocals. It adds some presence. It has some grit. It has some noise. It has something that when you just run it through there, the emulation of this, the tubes, all of that goodness really comes out. And I'm not using it a lot for volume, a little bit of compression, and I've even backed it way down so that it just gives me the vibe and not more of it's not making it louder to me. So I'm not fooled by volume differences. It's just tone. So and then after this compressor, I've just learned that usually after compression, it starts to enhance syllabants a little bit more. So when it came out of the compressor, certain frequencies were a little hissing at me. So I just hit them with a little de-essing, and that way I can, I could come up with that quote unquote finished vocal. So this is how it looks for me every single time. My track is going to be corrective. My bus is going to be additive or enhancement. Same thing when it flows all the way down here to the all vocals. Once everything comes together, then I can make some different choices on enhancement, correction, whatever I need to, I can do in that stage. And for me and me personally, this is just the way I've just developed over a little bit of a time. it just makes sense to me. I'm not 100% correct. I know many people who do it differently. They're not wrong. I'm not wrong. Nobody's wrong. It's just the way we do it. If that makes sense. You always got to be comfortable in what you're doing. So this what makes me comfortable, if that makes sense. Let's see. Anybody else got some comments? Did I mess up something? Did I say something wrong? Is the Josh, I see your question. I'm going to get to that in a second. I just want to check the YouTube people. Make sure Dell is cool. All right, cool. You're going to catch up to me, Dell, so I'll come back and check this in a second. Let me check with you on the ADU conversion. What's your thought process on it? I've never done it. Okay. So my process. So the Pure 2 just sounds good, right? So I'm not going to go super, super deep on ones and zeros because I don't think they matter too much. But in a sense, they kind of do matter. So the Pure 2 converter, it does something. It does something special. It comes out of my main Pro Tools interface digitally. So the converter really does a great job converting that digital signal back to analog. It's a very minimum thing. It could be placebo. I don't know. I'm not going to claim to know everything, but it is there is a difference. And part of the reason I think there is a difference is the clock that I'm using. So everybody who uses a clock, an external clock, knows that sometimes, man, in a very well-treated room, or if you're really comfortable with your space, once you add an external word clock to your mix, things start to happen. You start hearing things that you didn't think you were hearing before. So with this word clock, I'm sorry, with this converter that I have, here it goes. So when I first started sitting in with Leslie, I started noticing him. He would always print it back. I go out of Pro Tools and come back. So I started inquiring, and he said he likes the way. So we used over at Icon, we used Antelope series gear, right? And he liked the way when the signal went out of the interface and came back in, it got the benefit from the Big Ben clocking that's within all those symphonies and things of that sort. It sounded good. Yes, that sounded good. Now, I've always been a person to print within Pro Tools. I've always printed my mixes in Pro Tools. I never used the offline. I never used the bounce to disk in my professional career. Good question, Josh. But it did something. So when I got my own setup, I said, well, let's put that on steroids. Now, the Orion and the Antelope series already sounded different. But cool, let's get some, I was blessed at a certain time. I was like, yeah, let's get all four. Let's get all of that. And using the external clock was, as it comes out of the Orion, it's clocked to my OCX. It gives it a little bit more detail. It gives it a little bit more gloss. It gives it a little bit more gleam. Whatever word and adjective you want to put on there, go ahead and do it. But for me, I think it does wonders. I've noticed printing mixes. So when I've mixed some of Lawrence Flowers stuff, I mixed 7 or 8 songs on that record. Some of them I did at Icon, and some of them I did at home. The same mix, I literally took my computer out of my house and brought it to Icon, mixed a couple of records, brought it back, mixed a couple more, back and forth over this weekend. And I know which ones I mix at the house and which ones I mixed at Icon. Same plugins, different converters, different interfaces. And again, I mixed this in Leslie's spaceship room. So the big room over at Icon, and the one, that Starship Enterprise. Great looking room, great sounding room, same speakers, same computer, same plugins, but different converters. And I can tell the difference about the 3 songs that I mixed at the house and the other ones that I mixed at Icon. I can tell the difference. So yeah, that's my story, and I'm just gonna stick to it. That's just the benefit of that for me. With your Apogee, you have the Mark II, right, Josh? Okay. So the Mark II, I don't know. I've never used it. I've only used the first one. But I do know that they have Big Ben caliber clocking. So I don't know. And I think that was one of the decisions that I had to make when I decided to purchase my Antelope, because I was working on symphonies for 2 years at Icon every single day. So when I was going to build out another room, do I stay with what I know, or what do I want to try something different? And when I thought about it to try something different, I thought about getting a clock and an external clock, maybe the Antelope external clock, and then a symphony. But back in my intern days, I worked at a studio called 11th Street, and they had an external Big Ben clock. That was great. It was good. The A room over at 11th Street is still probably one of the better rooms in Atlanta. But I was torn. I didn't know, And then again, if I was going to spend $5,000 on a symphony, was I going to spend another $2,000 on a Big Ben clock when it has the Big Ben clock inside of a symphony? Nah, I didn't think I was going to do that. So I tried to, and honestly, I tried to get the most bang for my buck. I'm not even gonna lie. I wasn't trying to be cheap, but I was trying to save some money, because I did not want to go over $10,000. So a Symphony 16 channel easily would put me closer to that $10,000 than anything else. So what I found was, well, I can spend $1,200 on a clock. I could spend X amount of dollars on the Orion interface, and then I could put the Pure 2 in that mix, and then get a Satori, and I'm pretty much right around that threshold that I wanted to be at. So it just fit. Thankfully, it was a good fit, and it worked out, and I'm comfortable with it, and I actually truly like it without being an sponsored endorser of Antelope or anybody else. It actually was the best decision I can make. Why? I just did the research. I took a chance. I weighed its benefits. I made an informed decision, and based on my wallet and all the decisions that I came up with, this is the best thing for me. I'm curious to see how your Mark II sounds. I don't know. It's not out of the realm for me to kind of try that stuff. I think I'm going to be on Antelope for the next couple of years until something happens, until I grow out of it. But right now, this is going to be the rig that I'm going to hopefully take to the Grammys or something. Like, I'm not taking my rig to the Grammys. But this is I'm going to run a couple thousand. I want to run a couple thousand records through this interface before it retires. And then we'll see what happens, because in a few years, we'll never know. Never know what happens. Okay, Original Sean, that's cool. You're a little bit, behind, but I see you. I'm going to try and keep going back and forth. Sorry about the link mix-up. this is my first time really doing one of these online hangouts, so there's going to be hiccups. My bad. I don't know what's wrong with my camera, but it is what it is. Delavante and them was on with me earlier. They saw me fine. I don't know, but glad you're hanging out with this. Just let me know if you got any other questions. Got any tips for me? Whatever. I'm down for anything. I'm awake. I got coffee. We all G. So Josh, hopefully that makes sense. It's traditional J Brown teacher. I'm not going to directly answer your question. I'm going to challenge you to think and come up with what you come up with. Good. I'm glad I answered your question. Anybody else? This is cool. Let's see. Cool. Well, we chilling. I don't know what to do next, man. Hopefully it was some good information. If you guys want, if anybody on YouTube or stuff, I'm, kind of fly by the seat of my pants type of guy here. I'm, we really want to dig in. I really want to get this thing fixed so people can join in and we can talk and we can kind of vibe off of each other. I don't really like to be the only person talking in the room. I think I operate best when everybody's in the room. We're just bouncing ideas off each other. It's okay if you don't agree with me. It's okay if I don't agree with you. We're just talking, trying to get better as mixers and engineers as people. So, I'd love to do it again, even if it's just one person. So, if you want to do this again at some point, just let me know, guys, and I'll make it happen on some free time. So, Josh, you asked the difference between the engineer and artist. Come on now. No, seriously. What do you mean? I see your question, original Sean, and I will address that shortly and see what he means on here. Oh, I see what you meant, Josh. Okay, I got you. Yes, I have used Slate Virtual Mix VMS. Which one is that? There's so much Slate stuff out there. Hold on a second. Let me see. VMS Virtual VMS. I think I have it. Me and my terminologies here. Oh, okay. No, I have not. Have you, original Sean? I have the, well, I don't have that capability, but I know some of the Antelope stuff is doing the same thing as Steven is doing. In my experience, everything Steven has put out has been quality. It's been worth the money. Even if I don't use it a lot. So yeah, I have the everything bundle. I've been a Slate adopter for a while. Like, I owned all of his plugins before the monthly uh, before the monthly thing took into place. And again, it's with the Slate stuff, excellent, excellent stuff. It the most useful things that I've used Slate for, it's not for everything, and I don't think Steven would. I don't think Steven would say that. I mean, yeah, sure, you can use it on anything you want, but it excels in certain things. It excels for me on drums. The virtual tape machine really excels for me on vocals and bass. I love using the Slate on bass, the tape machine on bass. But with knowing the track record Steven has, um, if you're in that recording realm, I would say if you can get it tomorrow, get it, because um, there, you know, I like what he does. I like the stuff that he puts out. It is quality stuff. Um, but yeah, it's quality stuff. There's really no getting around that, and there's a useful thing for it at all times. And if he says that it sounds like a Sony C100, C800, it sounds like a Sony C800, because that's just how much Steven hasn't let me down yet. Let me put it that way. So if you are thinking about buying that, and it's something that'll work for your setup and having those different options, I would say it's a no-brainer. There now, Antelope does have a something similar to that they just came out with. My opinion on Antelope is kind of jaded because I own all Antelope products, but the Antelope side may be good for certain things, and I would use, if I had the use for a Slate mod of the VMS, I would use either or. It's nice to have options. But nothing Slate has put out has let me down. And that's, I'm not buttering up to Steven Slate at all, but everything that I purchased from him it's still rocking today. So yeah, if you're into it and you can get your hands on it, definitely. And that was a very long answer. Glowing endorsement of Steven Slate. Josh, I still use both. I'm a very big Waves, not a very big Waves user anymore. But every plugin has its purpose. So I have a handful of go-to Wave stuff that'll find its way onto every session. I have access to the great UAD platform. It is a great investment. Yes, they are expensive plugins, but they are boutique plugins. You're not going to use, like, it wouldn't make any sense for me to use 20 different SSL channel plugins across my mix, because it's just better used in a different scenario. If I wanted to use an UAD SSL channel, I'd probably strap it across a bus and let it rip. If I'm doing my corrective point, I would probably just put a Waves plugin and just have at it, because they use such little resources that I can use a ton of them across the mix. Where my UAD side, I can't use as many because I'm limited. I'm not limited that way, but I mean, I have 2 octo cards in my computer. So then 9 times out of 10, I could probably get away with it, but I think that would just be overuse. Plugins I would recommend. Here's the thing. I would try, if you get onto the platform and you get an Apollo, you get a UAD, one of those boxes, try them. So you use the LA2A, the 1176, and the SSL channel. All of those are in my bag. The LA2A gray is one of my favorites. The silver is becoming one of my close seconds. The 1176 models I will always use on some live drums or whenever I do some stuff for Greenleaf or a pop thing I just did. I'll strap it across, give me a little bit more snap on that snare. The SSL channel UAD side has been getting less and less use for me. I don't think that's just anything else other than preference. I still have it. It's just preference sometimes happens where it's just like, yeah, I think I can use something better. What I used to reach for the UAD plugins for, especially the Neve 88 RS, and some of the Neve plugins would be color. I really started to enjoy the color band part. The SSL channel, not that much for me, but you know, if I need some color or I need some warmth, I can strap on pause. I can just go ahead and put on the SSL. I'm sorry, put on a Neve plugin. The 88 RS is great for color for me. Sometimes I'll use the, you know, I'll drive a what am I trying to say? It's 11:30 at night. I've been talking a lot. Like a 1073, I'll just drive that. Like a 1073, get some warmth, get some body. I'll use that. For what I use a lot of UAD stuff for, what I really like is the API 2500. That seems to work really well. And again, there's going to be certain uses I'm going to use that one for rather than the Waves. I will still use the Waves version, and I'll use the UAD version in certain scenarios. And it's kind of hard to describe what scenario that is. It's just like I'll know it when it happens. I don't want to say I always go to the Waves at 2500 for hip hop, because I don't. It just depends. The Neve 33609 is one of my favorites. I tend to use that a lot. A plug-in chain that I've stolen from Leslie is going to be the Voice of God. I still don't know how to use it technically. I just turn knobs until it sounds good, and then I balance off the volume. Sorry, don't tell anybody, but that's what I do with that one. The Full-Tech Classics, you have to have those. That finds its way on kicks and a whole bunch of stuff. Kicks are just, yeah, that's the way to go. So yeah, the basic stuff, man. I really end up liking the Chandler Curve Bender a lot on a master bus. Like it or not, the Precision series is great, nice and clean. Again, I kind of took a pointer from Leslie Brathwaite a lot by using that one. Let me switch over here to gloating about UAD plugins. Shoot. And the BrainWorks V3. I find that it finds itself on a stereo bus every now and then. Really great for shaping mid-side stuff, some widening. If I don't want to use the Waves widener, I can get some width on my track. I can also kind of, one of the cool features that plugin has like a focus channel. That's what I want to call it. It's so I can set like crossovers. So what gets mono? So I can put all of my 150 hertz and below in the center, and then EQ and play around my sides and things of that sort. So I can, you know, they have some useful stuff, but it's definitely not the most inexpensive route. But UAD does have its it's way, and more professionals, that more and more people that I deal with are using that platform and using it well. It really works. So yeah, that's UAD selling point in a nutshell. So I've sold two things. I've sold a Slate VMS, and hopefully I've sold a UAD card. So when are my checks coming? I don't know. Anybody have any? Got anything else, Josh? Um, I master when I have to. Um, I'm not gonna try and make a living out of it. I, you know, if a client comes to me with the budget, and they want me to mix and master it, and they don't want to, go to somebody else, I will work it into my mix. Um, I was just having a conversation with one of my colleagues, Sean. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. If I can pass it off, if I can charge them more and then give it to another person to master, that's always going to be a preference. But I don't like to be the mix and master guy. But at this point in my career, I'm going to take what I can get, if that makes sense. Um, so, short answer is yes, I do master, but I try not to master the things that I've mixed. And I don't get a lot of I don't get a lot of mastering work because that's not what I'm into. So, pick one. YouTube. Let's see what they're talking about there. 13. Ooh, I have a total of. All right, man. Y'all are some great viewers. This is great, man. So all three of y'all that are on YouTube have given me average of 30 minutes of your time. That could be just one answer, but I don't know. Appreciate the stats, everybody. Do I normalize? No. My opinion is I don't think I have to. I get what I get, and I work with what I get. I'm not gonna normalize stuff. I've seen some online discussions about that. Um, I get the theory, but it hasn't found its way into my workflow yet. That's the best answer I can give. The most direct one. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody? Question, answers, whatever. YouTube side, how y'all doing over there? YouTube and having that out, man. YouTube, what up? What up, though? Wow. I think it's about that time. You know what time it is? It is almost Super Bowl Sunday. And I think what I'm going to do, I'll go to bed for the night. Go to Icon tomorrow, have a little Super Bowl party, chill. But Josh, I appreciate you coming on here. Hopefully you got some answers. This is, I really wanted this to be more of a conversation about, with everybody. I think that's where the benefit is. I really don't think, I'm not saying that I'm not giving out good info. Hopefully I am, but really having, next time, hopefully we can have a lot more people in here and kind of bouncing ideas off each other and just having good conversations and respectful conversations. And then, we keep it moving. I don't mind doing this, but Yeah, no, I don't mind doing it at all. So, man, you got my number, dog. Hit me up. Next week's gonna be kind of busy, so just bear with me as far as time wise. But you got my email. Hit me up. I'm always willing to help. And with the mixing side, I have to put you on to my boy Sean Riggins for the recording side because, boy, my man's a beast. But yeah, man, Josh, just hit me up, and I appreciate everybody who joined in and couldn't join. We'll get those bugs out. Till next time, have a good night.